What's the reality for Texas A&M? Because I think nationally, there's one view for A&M in terms of them being Texas 8-4 and always being mid and always having all this hype preseason but then never actually achieving it. And then I think there's the real with Texas A&M. So we'll unpack this together right now. A&M fans, make sure you are subscribed. If you want more Texas A&M content, the best way to communicate that to us is by subscribing because we see who subscribes. So if there's a demand, we create supply. You hear how this whole thing works. So, like I said, perception around A&M is that they're Texas 8-4. Hear me clearly. I have never taken the ride on the hype train. This is my first time here. I appreciate y'all having me. I did not buy a ticket. I kind of snuck onto the back car of this whole thing. But what I will say is, as much as there's some legitimacy to the idea that Texas A&M has underachieved relative to talent the last couple of years, I don't understand that narrative relative to what they are right now. Because last year, you go 8-4. It's unfortunate, when it comes to how people talk about A&M. But if that's the messy it's going to be for the first year under Mike Elko, and you still are a game away from playing for a conference title with a quarterback who you threw into the season to be your starter during the LSU game with Marcel Reed, I don't have a ton of reason to doubt A&M. And this is not just people outside of the A&M bubble. We have Texas A&M in our post-spring top 10, and there are A&M fans saying, will you chill out for a second? We prefer to be unranked. Don't put us on the radar. We'll earn our ranking. And I hear you, but this isn't something that's based in a logo is my biggest frustration. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. There's nothing about A&M that's cursed or snake-bitten. Nothing wrong with that maroon. Nothing wrong with Kyle Field. There's nothing in Texas A&M of themselves that should keep them from winning football games. I think you can point to what Jimbo Fisher wasn't structurally. I think you can point to what Kevin Sumlin didn't do well. Those are fair things to point to. But to say A&M is cursed and they're going to be 8-4 perpetually, there's no logic behind that. As we're getting ready for this segment, it's not the same, but I think it's a similar case. A&M right now reminds me of how people used to talk about Georgia under Mark Richt. They're good. They're upper tier when it comes to talent, but they don't actually ever win anything. Now, Georgia, to their credit, under Mark Richt, they did win a few things. They had some seasons that were more successful than 8-4, but a lot of the time it was underachievement relative to what they were supposed to do. And then what happened? Mark Richt goes to Miami, and then Kirby Smart gets the job at Georgia, and then Georgia wins a couple national championships, and they're one of the top teams in college football. They're now achieving their potential. I'm looking at Mike Elko, and I'm saying I think he is exactly what A&M needed the entire time. When he gets there, what is A&M lacking? I mentioned the organization and the structure under Jimbo Fisher. Y'all, from what I could gather, I think they lacked good culture. Just outside looking in, I think they lacked culture. Mike Elko, he brings that. Toughness. If you know Mike Elko and you know what he brings to the table, he brings toughness. I think energy, confidence, all those things. Mike Elko brings that. It's a slow build. It's kind of a bake more than a microwave, but still, I think that's what he brings, and I think that's what A&M's going to embody. And so when you look at A&M here in 2025, I have a hard time telling you what they just truly lack. A year ago, I don't know they had real juice on the perimeter at receiver. Go out and get Kevin Concepcion, who was a dog at NC State. Bring him in. Okay, so I think that's going to be an upgrade for you in a lot of ways with the passing game. Marcel Reed, you now get to tailor the offense to him. So the offense, I think, with Le'Veon Moss back in the fold, should be in good shape. The defense, still some unknowns there, but I go back to Mike Elko being the head coach. The defensive side of the football, that's his baby. I have a very difficult time telling you, as we sit here right now, my defense will be a problem for you. That's my take on it. Experience, top 10 returning production in college football. Mike Elko, again, is the right guy for this job. I don't see a lot of holes. So you go back to why would you speak about A&M in a way to where they're not going to be successful in 2025, where they can't be a team that competes for an SEC championship in 2025. They did it in 24. They were a game away, y'all. It's not like A&M. Again, there's nothing wrong with the logo, nothing wrong with College Station. It's all right there. It's all right there. So to put a bow on this thing, narratives are not what wins football games. Games aren't played in narratives. Games are played on the field. And based on what Mike Elko brings to the table, based on this roster, based on Marcel Reed, there's a lot there for me to say, okay, yeah, I think it's worth believing in what A&M is going to be here in 25. The 2019 Jimbo Fisher team for A&M has no impact on this year's team. I understand there's some battered Aggie syndrome there, as y'all talk about on TexAgs and the message board. I get that. I'm not saying that's not a real feeling, but I don't think it's real relative to what's going to happen in 25 for A&M. So Texas A&M fans, again, subscribe. Let me know how you feel around the optimism that I have around A&M here going into next season. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.